Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Now let's focus on the turning point represented by Cindy Sheehan going to Martha's Vineyard. People will remember it was 4 years ago this August that Bush was in his retreat there at Crawford, Texas, on his fake ranch, because this was just a ranch he rented to make himself look country and western when he was on one of his many vacations. He'd spend 5 minutes clearing brush and then go back inside and get out the Jack Daniels or whatever he did. So that was when Cindy Sheehan went to Crawford, Texas, and set herself up really with minimal resources near the Mad Dog Bush Ranch at that point. Now, she has announced that she's going to Martha's Vineyard, and the point of all this is to support it. So let me just give you her email, her website, CindySheehanSoapbox.com. Just put those words in, Cindy Sheehan Soapbox. You'll find a PayPal, and if you put in Cindy Sheehan Soapbox Blogspot, you'll get some very interesting statements. Let's go to those statements now. Her first release, dated August 16th, this past Sunday, Cindy Sheehan will join other like-minded peace activists to be present at near the expensive resort on Martha's Vineyard, where Obama will be vacationing from August 23rd to 30th. Now, that means when you hear this broadcast, Cindy Sheehan is most likely already there or on her way. And she points in her initial release, she says, first of all, no good social or economic change will come out of the continuation or escalation of the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. We've got 3 wars now. We've got the Pakistan one that was started by Obama and the Afghan one that has been taken over by Obama, and we've got Iraq, which Obama and his minions have refused to end. And, of course, this goes back to Pelosi's refusal to block the funding by passing no bill. Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan. We simply can't afford, says Cindy Sheehan, to continue this tragically expensive foreign policy. Secondly, talking to leftists, we, as a peace movement, need to continue calling for an immediate end to occupations of these countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, and others, right? Israeli occupations, I think she means too. Even when there is a Democrat in the Oval Office, there is no noble cause, no matter how we examine the policies. Thirdly, the body bags are not taking a vacation, and as the U.S.-led violence surges in Afghanistan and Pakistan, so do the needless deaths on every side. Now, that's for people who say Obama is entitled to a vacation of peace. Yeah, right. While he betrays you and while he gives orders to send the Predator drones to shoot up innocent Pakistani villages. Finally, says Cindy, if the right wing can force the government to drop any kind of public option or government-supported health care, then we need to exert the same kind of pressure to force a speedy end to the occupation. So she will be arriving in Martha's Vineyard on Tuesday, August 25th. The media attention has already begun. Now, let me also go through this other one. Her direct response from Cindy Sheehan to Obama's speech in Phoenix, I think, is an important step forward for the peace movement as a whole. This indicates a level of maturity of analysis, which is very encouraging. So she says, as I listened to clips of Obama's speech to the VFW on August 17th, the Monday speech in Phoenix, I was wondering if his speechwriters were on vacation and if they just recycled an old Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, Rice speech. While the so-called left is focused on the health care debacle and is allowing right-wingers to define the debate, it should be Medicare for all and all for Medicare. Obama and his neocon foreign policy team are preparing for a decades-long bloody foray in AFPAC, and that, of course, is the word from the Washington Post. 10 years of war is what's being planned. She quotes an editorial writer, Abu Hakla from the Kansas City Star. President Barack Obama did his best imitation of former President George Bush Monday at the VFW National Convention in Phoenix. Obama sounded downright hawkish and, yes, presidential when he addressed the issue of terrorism in front of the veteran-laden crowd. Dick Cheney could not have said it better. So, says Cindy Sheehan, this is one of the reasons I am leading protests next week, that means this week by the time you hear it, on Martha's Vineyard, where Obama will be vacationing. The anti-war movement cannot allow itself to be co-opted by the Democratic Party any longer. We cannot allow the War Party and other elites to define the terms of the war debate. Obama actually had this to say in his speech in front of the veterans of foreign wars, and here's what he says. Peace movement people, 9/11 people, anybody of goodwill, please take note. Here's Obama. We must never forget, this is not a war of choice. This is a war of necessity. Those who attacked America on 9/11 are plotting to do so again. Oh, my God, Bush Cheney. If left unchecked, the Taliban insurgency will mean an even larger safe haven from which al-Qaeda would plot to kill more Americans. So this is not only a war worth fighting, says Obama. This is fundamental to the defense of our people. Cindy Sheehan's comments. Obama also made a lot of other crazy Bushian statements, but this one has to take the cake and lead the charge for peace. Right on, Cindy. That is absolutely correct. One thing, writes Cindy, that we must never forget is that the Taliban and Afghanistan never attacked the U.S. on 9/11. And in response, the U.S. is killing members of a wedding party. 26 members of a wedding party in Afghanistan were bombed and killed the day before she wrote this release. Even if Obama did plan if Osama did plan the attacks from somewhere inside Afghanistan, which is not likely, she says, this war of choice is not about defending America. Remember, profit is not a consequence of war. Profit is the reason for war. How can we allow, as a nation, how can we allow the war party to sacrifice innocent babies for the illusion of safety? Afghanistan, Obama, is just as much a war of choice as Iraq is. And Obama, in choosing it, is exploiting the lies. So what is fundamental, writes Cindy Sheehan, to the defense of our people is a sane foreign policy, not more war crimes brought to the world by the war criminals in D.C. This is now Obama, Gates, Jones, and the rest. What is fundamental to our health and prosperity is to bring the troops home from Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, reduce the Pentagon budget so we can have basic human rights such as health care, housing, and education. Besides Afghans and Pakistanis getting killed and displaced on at a Bushian clip, these days the troops are being killed and wounded so the war profiteers can squeeze more bucks out of the violence. More of our families will be harmed while most of the anti-war movement stands down for Obama. Now an important point from Cindy. Cindy Sheehan writes, I don't care if you love Obama or hate him or something in between. Paren, he has the lowest approval ratings of any president after 7 months in office, comma. We must loathe his wars and his crazy hate speech directed at our brothers and sisters in the war-torn regions. Obama's crazy hate speech, that's good political analysis coming from Cindy Sheehan. Please join us on Martha's Vineyard from August 26th through August 30th to demonstrate to the world that there are still some people here in America who want peace, no matter who inhabits the Oval Office. Now, that is a hard-hitting and courageous statement from Cindy Sheehan. So, again, if you care about the future of your country, you got to support this. Go to Cindy Sheehan, SHAEEHAN, Soapbox. There's a PayPal. Make a contribution, Cindy Sheehan, Soapbox.com. And indeed, if you want to get these statements and duplicate them and send them around, which I urge you to do, send them to your entire list. Cindy Sheehan, Soapbox, Blogspot. Add the Blogspot, and you'll get her ongoing commentary. The two most recent statements at the present time are the ones that I've just gone through. We'll be back in a minute.